Good afternoon, this is DJ Johnny at JDMFM, and today I'm continuing my quest around Penketh and Sankey. In my previous video I was at Sankey Bridges, hope you enjoyed that video, and now I've come up the canal a little bit further to Fiddlers Ferry. Let's go and have a look at it. So when the Sankey Canal, or St Helens Canal, whichever you want to call it, when that was first built, you remember that the water went out at the Mersey, which is further up at Sankey Bridges. But it was really difficult because the tide was really low and it was difficult for barges and boats to get out. So they decided to extend it about 6 years later to Fiddlers Ferry, which is where we are now. Now this is where they extended to these locks here. They built these extra locks so they could get the craft out of the river over there, the canal over there, and going down to the Mersey, which is just here. It's at high water at the moment. There actually used to be two locks here, one there, which has now been filled in, and this one here, which has really been refurbished and works. And in fact, there's now a yacht marina, which you've seen some of the boats already, and all the boats come in from this lock to get into the canal now. That's the only way in. Whoa! And this is Fiddlers Ferry Haven. A beautiful place. Well, it is on a sunny day in summer, but nonetheless it's still nice, and people bring the craft here, they repair them, do all the work they need to do on them before they go along on the canal and on the travels. I'm not sure this one behind me is going very far though. All you can see is its mast. Sell boats here, so if you want a nice new boat or an old boat, come on down and see if you can buy one. Now this is the ferry inn, the Ferry Tavern behind me, and it was in that ferry where people used to stay and wait for the journey, for the ferryman to cross here. He went from down here across on a boat, a rowing boat, across the Mersey down towards Moor and everyone, which some people who were travelling from Manchester to the west could cross this very easily. Jeepers, I wouldn't say it was very easy, dearly me, I don't think I'd fancy it. So for 800 years people used to travel across on that ferry, dearly me. So why was it called Fiddlers Ferry? Why are we here at Fiddlers Ferry? Well, shortly after the Norman Conquest in 1066, the lord of the manor here was called Adam Le Villiers, a French guy, and he owned the rights to the ferry, which is over there. There's the ferry going across. Adam Le Villiers owned the ferry, the ferry here. And now Le Villiers translates to fiddler, sounds like fiddler, Villiers, fiddler, similar, and he owned the rights to the ferry, so it's Fiddlers Ferry, and the name stuck ever since. So you can see now the tide is actually quite high at the moment. It's high, it's just over the other side of this ridge. But the problem is that this place floods, and it really does flood. They've obviously built this huge embankment here. Can you see this embankment? They've built it to stop the water flooding when it's on a really high tide. But that hasn't always stopped it, and the water has indeed come across in the past, and it's flooded the whole of the building. And what they do, although I can't get in there today, it's a shame, but on the bar there, they've got December 2013 is the top of the bar level. That's about here. So from here into December 2013, the whole of the pub was completely and utterly flooded. Dearly me! And this is Fiddlers Ferry Power Station. Whoa! It is ginormous! This is one of the biggest buildings, if not the biggest building in Warrington. Absolutely huge, dearie me. It's got 4 huge towers, cooling towers either side, and a huge central chimney there. Those towers are something like 114 metres high. That's really, really high. And the chimney is 200 metres high. In the middle of the chimneys, that chimney there has got red lights going all the way up to help for aircraft. And the lights themselves are like the front of a size of a large car. Absolutely amazing. They're dotted as they go all the way up. Huge, dearie me. It's something like 2,000 megawatts. Absolutely amazing power. Now, it uses coal, so obviously nowadays it's not used as much, but it also uses biomass and keeps it sustainable. Today it's actually not on very much. You can see there's not very much smoke coming out, so it's not on very much, but it is certainly here and a fabulous place. Dearie me. So this power station was built on Cuerdley Marshes, which is just on the perimeter of Penketh, just in this area. It's still Penketh, it's still Warrington, Cuerdley Marshes. And the Cuerdley Marshes got stretched right the way over to the Mersey, which is just over there. Now, the funny thing is that during the war, the marshes were used as a deterrent for the Luftwaffe who were coming over, because this particular area is directly in line with Burton Wood. Now, at Burton Wood, there was a huge American air base, and I'm going to do a video there another day. But that American air base had some massive runways and loads of aircraft. And the story goes that Cuerdley Marshes was used as a decoy runway. And what they used to put, they put lights down so that it looked like it was a runway itself. So when the Luftwaffe came over, they saw this place, and because it was directly in line with Burton Wood, they would have thought that this was Burton Wood itself, and they dropped the bombs on here rather than on Burton Wood. Whoa! So I don't know how many bombers must be in these marshes behind. Dearie me, just be careful when you walk across. So that was Fiddlers Ferry. What a lovely, lovely place, and part of the Sankey Valley Park. Really worth a visit. We've seen where the canal was continued across to let the boats out more easily. We've seen the beautiful Yacht Haven with some nice boats, some not so nice boats, and some very wet boats. Dearie me. We've seen that where the name came from for the Fiddlers Ferry in the first place, and we've seen the track, the journey across. I really wouldn't fancy that. For 800 years, a little rowing boat used to go back and two across there. And we've seen the ferry tavern itself, and where it used to flood and continues to flood even now when it's high tide. Dearie me. And we've also seen that huge, monstrous Fiddlers Ferry Power Station, the name that people would probably recognise Fiddlers Ferry for in the first place. Dearie me, what an amazing place. And I've not even got to the town of Penketh yet, the village. We'll find it soon. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little talk, and whatever you're doing, hope you have a fabulous time. I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.